Hi everyone, welcome to Basics Part 4. So if you remember in our last video, we built this entrance hall over here with the staircase, objects, and the different level panoramas. Now in Basics Part 4, we are going to learn how to add more rooms to our tour. So in this case, we have the kitchen over here, which is on the same floor as our entrance hall. And we've also added the top of this staircase over here, which is part of the attic. And you're going to see that reflected in your model view as well. You can even switch between floors like this, and you'll see it in your plan view like this. So for this video, if you want to follow along, instead of opening this tour, the one you built in part 3, what you're going to do instead is download the project package, which I'll leave the link to in the description. And then you're just going to click this, upload project package, and then upload that. And I'll show you why in just a minute. Okay, and here's the new project. So I'm going to open that. And just so I'm not confused with the other project, I'm going to rename this to Basics 4. Okay, so as you can see in this tour, you already have all the rooms included. You have the kitchen and the stairs, as well as all the panoramas you're going to need to build those. So if we open the kitchen, as well as the stairs, and remember, you can press Control, click, so you can open pages in multiple tabs. So here we have the stairs. As you can see, it has this very interesting configuration where more than half of the floor is empty, and it also has this slanted ceiling. Now for the kitchen, you'll also see that it has this very interesting L shape. So the entrance hall we built, if you remember, that was a pretty simple room. So this one is a bit more complicated to build because it has a lot of hidden corners as well as, again, this L-shaped configuration. It also has a lot more objects than our entrance hall, and it's going to be up to you if you want to build each object individually or be more fast while building your tour. So again, it's up to you. I'm just going to show you how I built it. If this room, the one I built, doesn't look 100% like the one you built, that doesn't mean that you built the room wrong. You might have even built it better than me because I did take some shortcuts over here. So I'll just show you how I built mine, and you can just refer to it and make it faster or more detailed than I did. Again, it's up to you. Also, if you open the tour editor over here, you're going to see that all the rooms are already here and all the floors have already been marked and the model has already been generated, though you might need to wait a minute or two for all the rooms to load like that. And it's just going to load later on. And then when you switch to preview, then you can jump between the two rooms and fix the configuration if you want. So feel free to play around with that. And you have the project package anyway, so you can just re-upload that if you want a clean slate. Okay, so now that we've explored this project, I'm going to close all of this. And then we're going to start building our rooms. So first of all, let's start with the kitchen because it's on the same floor. Oh, and by the way, you may have noticed that I renamed the panoramas so it's clearer where each image actually belongs. So these two belong to the kitchen, this belongs to the stairs, these three belong to the entrance hall. And if you want to rename your panels, you can just hover over it and then click on the eye icon. And then you can click here and rename it to whatever you want. Then press enter, close it, and you'll see that the panorama name has changed. But I was already happy with what it looked like before, so I'm just going to change that back to that one. Okay, and if you rename it, by the way, it's not going to affect the rooms that have already been built using those panoramas, so don't worry about that. So, okay, I have both of these selected. I'm going to click new room over here. Here we are. I'm just renaming this to kitchen 2. And now you're already familiar with all of this, how to align your panels and adjust your nadir radius and all that. So I'm just going to skip all that in this video. If you want to see where I put the orientation line, level lines, and all of that, you can just refer to the kitchen we built over here. Remember to switch alignment tools on, and then you'll be able to see where I put everything. Okay, so here we are. Both of our panoramas have been aligned to the proper orientation. and we're just going to jump straight into room building. So I'm going to add my floor corner, first floor point over here. Yep. And then what do I do next? Because as you can see, we can't see any more floor corners from this area of the room. This is the only visible one. So does that mean we can't add more floor points? No, that just means we don't look at the floor when we're adding the next floor points. So I'm going to zoom out a bit. And now you can see we have this vertical line pointing straight up to the ceiling. And instead of looking at the floor, I'm going to look at that. And I'm going to align it until it matches with this wall corner, the one where this wall and this wall meet together. So that point over there. So I'm just going to bring that while I have protractor selected. And then once the line looks like it's matching up with that corner, I'm going to click. And then I'm just going to keep adding my floor points. So over here, can I see if I zoom in? Actually, not really. So I'm just going to estimate for now. And it's perfectly fine to do an estimate for now. We can just build the rest of the room when we move to this panorama, because then we can have a clearer idea of the rest of the room. So okay, back to our reference panel. So we have this part of the floor built out already. And since we can't see that spot just yet, I'm going to focus on this part for now and add my objects. This row over here, if you want to build it fast, then you can just like clump all three into one large cube, but I'm going to take my time and build each object individually because I'm not in a rush right now. Okay, so I think this needs to be rotated a bit. Okay, then I'm going to pull that until it matches with the wall and extend this a bit. And okay, so we have this. Is this a washing machine or a dryer? So anyway, so that's done. Then I'm going to add another one over here. So we have all of these appliances done. Now for this cabinet, I'm going to draw those two. So I'm going to start from the ceiling, clicking there, there, and over here. And then I'm just going to adjust it until it fits with this configuration. Okay, so we have all of our objects over here. And again, you can confirm that they've been placed correctly by using the WASD keys. You can also go up and down. So in case you, for example, drew this one too high, you'll notice that it's too tall compared to the other objects. You can just bring it down and snap it to the ceiling. Okay, so I think this part of the room is done. Oh, and I'm also going to add a window over here. So our last tool over here, you just click on this and then this edge. So it's like adding a door. Then just make it, oops. Then I'm just going to click on this and make it a bit thinner. Now when you look at your floor plan, you're going to see a window on this section of the wall. And then one last thing, I'm going to draw this object over here because it's going to help us with our floor later on. Okay, so we're done here. Okay, so now let's connect the two panoramas together. So because we haven't drawn this part of the room yet, we're not going to look at that while we're aligning them. So interactive mode, I'm just going to make, let's see. So these are all the appliances, so this should be rotated like that. and then we need to make this corner over here match with that. So I'm going to move like that. So when we switch back to panorama view, that should look okay. Let's switch off the guides so we can see more clearly. Yep, looks fine when we transition. Okay, so now let's build out the rest of our floor. Remembering to switch all the visual guides on. Oops, undo. Then we are just going to build this out. So for example, this corner, we'll adjust it. So again, this line over here matches with the wall corner. Like that. Okay, so moving on to the next floor point. So this one, I'll bring this all the way over here, and then I'm just going to extend it until it meets this post. So technically this is semi-open floor layout, but we have some gaps over here and here. But it's still more or less a wall, this part and this part. So I'm just going to treat it like that. And then for the other floor point, I'm just going to match it with that post as well. Okay, and then one last floor point, protractor, done. Okay, so we are done adding our floor points. So again, if you can't see the spot on the floor, then just look at the wall corners over here and use your protractor so you can keep your rooms straight and square. Okay, now that we're done adding our floor points, let's just add the rest of our objects. Okay, so just like that, we have our kitchen built. Now the question is, how do we link this kitchen with our entrance hall? And the answer to that is through our door. Only in this case, instead of drawing our door, we are going to click the door tool and then we are going to place our door. So if you remember, we called that room the entrance hall. So we're going to select the door that we named the kitchen, which is this one. And then we're just going to click place door and until it matches with the one we have over here. Okay, and it's red. That means we've gone past the room border, so we have to adjust it. So we just adjust until it matches our door frame. Oops. Okay, so there's a bug right now that sometimes the door disappears while you're drawing it. So if that happens to you, just click undo and drag it down like that. We need to make sure that this is configured properly. So for example, is it swinging outward or inward? In this case, outward, so that's okay. And the door handle is facing where it's supposed to, so that's also good. So yeah, we're done with this room and we can add it to our tour editor. So first of all, I'm going to reset my tour so things don't have to overlap, and then I'm going to click edit tour. Right, so now let's drag our entrance hall to our plan and then our kitchen too as well. Okay, so notice how it immediately clicked, the two of them. So that's again because we have the same door connecting these two together, and if we switch on the nav map like this, you'll see that they're automatically going to get connected as well. But it's always a good idea when you're editing your tour to switch on Nav Map and just make sure that all the connections you want are there. Because sometimes if, for example, the line of sight isn't there between the two rooms, like for example, if this door is closed, then you're not going to have this connection. So you'll have to put it manually if you want. So again, line of sight is important. Distance too, if for example, this one is, and the next panorama is like way over here, then like that might not connect as well. So just be careful about that. And then our model view, we can refresh it. Okay, so here's our model. You can just look around like that. And again, you can be more or less detailed than I was while building this. But for our real estate tour, this is good enough for the most part. Then when we switch to our preview, again, you can now move between the two rooms. So that's it for rooms on the same floor. And if you have all your rooms in the same floor, that's all you have to worry about. Just building your rooms and then making sure you have connecting doors between them so you can transition between the two rooms. But if you have multiple floors, like in this case, we have these stairs over here, then you have to think about adding connections between those rooms and floors too. So before we start building our stairs, let's switch to our entrance hall for a moment here, because I made one more addition to this that wasn't included in our previous video. When I click over here, you'll notice that I actually added a door to this section of the ceiling, although I indicated that it wasn't actually a door by selecting no door. I also made sure to name it stairs to differentiate it from the other doors we have in the room. And the reason I added a door over here is, well, there are two reasons. So first one is if you go to our model view over here, you'll see that the top of this room, because I drew a door over there, is hollow, which is exactly what it should look like. And the second reason is similar to how we use this door to connect the kitchen and the entrance hall. We're also going to use this door to connect the entrance hall and the room above it. So okay, let's start building our stairs room so I can show you exactly how that works. So selecting this, new room. Okay, so here we are. I'm going to name this stairs 2. And just like before, I'm going to skip showing you the alignment tools, so fast forward. Okay, I'm done aligning my panel, so time to add floor points. So clicking this one, I'll add the floor points I can see first here and then here. And then in this case, we can't actually see anything. And even if we follow, for example, this wall corner over here, we know that's actually not the limit of our room. If we glance at our entrance hall, that's only about here. So we need to extend this further. But before we do that, I'm just going to adjust my ceiling over here. Adding one more over there. Okay, and then the ceiling, I'm going to bring it up like that. And then to make it slanted, I'm going to press Shift while dragging this. So it's slanted like that. Okay, so for the floor, because it's hard to guess, we don't really have information, what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to add my door first. So again, entrance hall stairs, and I'm going to place that door over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend this all the way over there, and you'll notice this is red because we have the floor points added over here, so our door is going past that floor, but we'll fix that later. So we extended it like that, so I'm going to extend it around the same length, and then I'll adjust. Okay, and then okay, so it's green now, and now we can check if this was a good guess. So opening this, and Let's add this to our plan view first. So our stairs room, it's actually on a different floor now. So before we add it, we need to assign both of these to the ground floor. Because right now they're in no floor assignment, which is fine if you just have one floor, but because we have multiple floors, if we leave both of these in no floor assignment, it's not going to show in our actual tour. So okay, again, assigning this to the ground floor. This one as well. Okay, and now let's drag stairs 2 over here. Okay, and if we zoom in, okay, stairs 2 actually looks like we drew the room too big, so I'm going to make it a bit shorter. Okay, so now it looks like it's a pretty good fit in terms of the room borders, so I am going to assign this to, instead of the ground floor, I'm going to make a new floor and call it the attic and cancel the ground floor assignment. Okay, now it's positioned like that. And I'm going to check it in our model view as well, just to be sure. But of course, we need to refresh it first, so I'm going to click here. And so, yep, it looks like a good fit. If we check our entrance hall over here, then we know that this part shouldn't be hollow. So I'm going to add an object to capture that. And basically, I'm going to add 2 objects. So one cube. Then I'll just copy paste this and add a wedge. Okay. So when we refresh our model, yep, you'll see that that object is now in our model. And you can add this other object over here, but I'm not going to bother because I'm happy as long as this one is showing. And if we check our nav map over here, you'll see that again, the connection between this panel and that has been automatically added. And if we go to preview and move over there, then yep, you can move between the 2 panoramas like that. So again, I'll just publish this, set my tour starting point to here again, then just checking. Oops, make this smaller. And yep, so I'm going to publish this to Asia Pacific Southeast because that's where I'm nearest to. And now let's open it. And yeah, so everything is working fine. Our model view is looking good, as well as our floor plan. And you can switch between floors. So there you go. So now you know how to add more rooms to your tour, both from the same floor and from different floors. So as of now, you know pretty much everything you need to know to make tours. So in our next video, we're just going to go through extra things you can do to your tours. So here's a tour that I configured even more. So you see right off the bat that the color is different, the text, and we have a logo over here, and the color of the buttons is different, and some of the icons I've changed as well. And you see the panel locators, I've changed the icon for that as well. And if we glance down, we have a nadir patch. And besides that, we also have labels added to this tour. So for example, this one, I can click this and it's going to open a link. And I can also add my own labels as a tour viewer. Like for example, I can add, maybe I can say that this is 220 volts. And now I'll be able to refer to that. So for example, this one, pretty picture, this one, 220 volts. And they can even add their own measures like that. And they can share this with other people. So for example, if I click this, then I can share that URL and they'll be able to see all of those notes over here and they can look around like that. And okay, going back here, if we switch to our plan view, you'll see that we have generated this background image from our model view and we can change floors even, and we've added this measure. So basically, next video, I'm just going to show you how to make your tour even more interactive, informative for your viewers, as well as how to make it match your brand even more by changing the colors and adding your own logos and images to your tour. So that's all for today. Thank you for watching and happy tour building!